writing. What a difference a night in the hotel makes. So, yeah, so one of the friends came through, but unfortunately, the friend we've been relying on a little too much, though. So we're trying to spread the burden a bit, guys. So come on, it helps them, and helping us out. You're also helping others out who are, been going above and beyond to help us out. So come on, let's share the burden a bit. But in lieu, let's see, we're waiting for. I gotta watch. I will watch Discovery on the download here, so I gotta wait for it to show up, and I'll get it sometime tomorrow. So we'll get up on that. And so far, I've heard this is supposedly one of the best ones yet, but that's again, that's a pretty low bar for this show. But so why because it'll say if it was just if it was any other sci-fi show, it'd be all over it. No, if it was written at this level, I'd still be all over it in a bad way, because again, the characters are written as idiots. And even when the good ones, there's still gaping plot holes that can be solved with just simple little fixes. Amateur stuff. These guys are supposed to be pro writers. They should know better. And they're being lazy. They try to think they can get away with it. For instance, let's take a look at... I don't know if it was the last one or the one before. Well, the one before, where Ash Vok is finally exposed, and they, beaming him out into space only for Discovery to snatch him up. There was no setup on that whatsoever. How did Discovery know to be waiting for Ash to materialize out there? And this could have been solved just a quick little 2-second line of dialogue instead of just, and it would have been easy to cover because the scene is she's just been attacked by Ash or Tyler or Bot or whatever. They would have allowed the captain a couple seconds to gather herself before trooping off to the transporter to carry out execution. And all we'd need was just, take him to the transporter. I'll be there momentarily. I'll be there presently. They go off, and I'll just, computer, open a secure channel to Discovery. That's all you need. And then cut to the rest of it going on. So you already have set up. Something's going to happen here. But in trying to get this little false suspense of, is she going to kill him? Well, no. Because then you have basically Saru having to be clairvoyant somehow to not only have Discovery there at the right spot to pick him up without being detected by the Shenzhou, but also know that he's done something very, very wrong. Because at this point, there's been no clue. This attack happened just out of the blue. So how did Saru know that Vok, or that Ash and Vok are dangerous people and lock them up in the brig? Because even if they knew to pick up on a combat or communicator signal, there's been no anything we've seen to indicate that this guy's in trouble and get security there waiting for him and they beam him on board. It's just amateur hack writing. These guys, they think they're so clever. And building up suspense thing that, they'll never see this coming. We saw it coming a mile. I already knew there was something going to be happening. So no, it doesn't work, guys. I would still be hating on the show even if they took all the Star Trek levels or the continuity issues were an issue. But it's still a matter of bad writing, bad characters, and the actors are doing the best they can with the crap they're given. And so, yeah, it's not just, old-timey, Star Trek fan hating on the new stuff. No, I've never been a problem with the new stuff, frankly. The closest I got was really Enterprise, only because it's like the ship really didn't look 100 years older than the original Enterprise. But even then, I've gotten used to that, okay? That was not a big hurdle. There was a big thing. It was mainly to do with the credibility of the writing staff on hand at the time. That these were not guys that really seemed to be beholden to the original series, and like Ron Moore put in an interview, to do a show like Enterprise, or especially a show like Discovery, you need to become born-again, die-hard, dyed-in-the-wool true believers in the original series. Because, really, technically, with the Cage in the mix, this is during the original series. It's not even accurate to call it a prequel. You're in that era. Because the Cage covers that period. So, yeah, I don't care how many... every ship has its own thing, and these are special... No, they're not special, because they got the admirals in the same damn uniforms. So, no. Doesn't work, guys. Listen, the only thing that's really going to save this show is the next season, total new writing staff, all of them Trek veterans, because they will see the writing, the ways to get out of this mess. Even if, like I figured, it winds up just with John Delancey doing a cameo, and it's like, okay, this has gone far enough, and just wipe the whole thing out, and then basically the first season being a total waste of time. That's the best that can happen to the show right now as far as continuity goes. Unless they're going to, rescind that thing. Oh, it's prime time. Like, nope, sorry. As Trek Yards proved rather ably, the ships do not fit at all with the original series ethos, but they fit in perfectly with the J.J. Trek ones. There's no way in hell the Discovery leading to the Constitution class as we know, but if, as it is in the J.J. Trek, yeah, sure, it fits in great. So, there's got to be a few come to Jesus moments coming up soon for this show and the staff, and some of the fans too, because a lot of them it's the same kind of knee-jerk reaction. Anything with the Star Trek label is well and good and appears in wind-driven snow. And I wonder, I hate to use the term true fans because no one can be a true fan over there, but I question their judgment and their credibility and how much they pay attention to what's going on around them. And not just for the show, but also the fans, because we've always been a cantankerous bunch, even back in the original series days. Even back then, they got letters complaining about, how this, that, and asking questions about why did the transporter flash 3 times in this episode, twice in this episode, 4 times in the other one. So, yeah, it's always been apparent. We're a very attentive bunch, and we're very nitpicky. So anybody say, you're just a grumpy old fan. We've always been grumpy old fans. It's like, it's like, in kind of contrast with the Star Wars fandom. It's like, and that's kind of when I finally get around to doing that response to Campius thing. Like, I think once our little plans are coming together, we might be able to do an extended stay in a hotel, so I'll be able to do it then. I don't want to wait too long on that because I'll be too dated by then. But yeah, Star Wars fandom has really been a much more broad-based type of thing. It's also, let's be honest, not the most intellectually challenging material, okay? It's fantasy. It's not science fiction. It's space fantasy. I mean, there's some heady stuff if you look for it, but a lot of it is also pew-pew, boom-boom, laser sword fights and little, trolls and big bad, heroes, and even bigger, better, villains. It's not hard science fiction. Never pretended to be. Anybody who says it is fooling themselves and try to be, pretentious. Because a lot of the defenders of the Star Wars rules, spelled R-U-L-Z. Okay, it's like, all caps, 15, exclamation points. In a way, I'm kind of going into the thing, Trekkie thing, but frankly, I don't like that one anyway, because that's really more of a generational thing. The old line Star Trek fans are Trekkies, and then newer ones who don't want to be associated with the old, more Trekkers or series fans. That's another debate for another time. But really, that's the nut of it right there. It's when they do a good job on Discovery, it's like they're still making stupid mistakes, and I wonder where they learned to screenwrite, because you got to set things up right. You don't just pull out of the blue. Anytime you're relying on the audience to fill in the gaps, you're getting lazy. Simple as that. So to the writers of Discovery, do your damn job. It's only 16 episodes in the season, or 15 episodes in the season. I mean, back in the old days, the guys were doing like 23, 24, 26 episodes a season, and they didn't have these kind of plot holes in it. They knew to set things up. You're not relying on the special effects and the we're getting $6 million an episode. They were getting like the equivalent of $1 million. And they couldn't do half the stuff you guys are doing here. So you tell me what's going on here, guys. Alright, PayPal, Patreon down below. With any luck, like I said, our grand scheme will come through this week and we can finally get on the road, get things fixed. And if what I've been told is true, there's a chihuahua running outside in the cold air. We may be getting a dog, at least for the night, pretty soon.
Yeah, because if they call animal control.
Yeah, I know. Well, he'll go to the shelter and they'll scan for a chip and hopefully get him home. But That's if animal control finds him and he's still alive. But if we find him on the way out here, he's going inside for us for at least the night. It'll be eventful. The cat doesn't even like other cats. He definitely doesn't like other dogs. At least not at first. I mean, he eventually got used to our Belgian sheepdog after about a couple of weeks, but no, I'm not a fan of Chihuahuas anyway, really, so it won't be any heartbreak to give this one up.
Guys,
but yeah,
we would really appreciate it if you help us get
but
a
yeah,
hotel room for another night.
Because there's nothing, between now and then, we still got to worry about surviving for the night, because we got less than $2 in the checking account after all is said and done. I got less than $1 on me. I think I like 39 cents in PayPal right now. Like I said, we're still, and yeah, it's getting harder and harder to get online. Just talk to people on Facebook, because it's always, they're always waiting for when's the whammy come? When does the plea for more money come in? There's a few people out there who are still willing to help, but it's getting fewer and fewer, frankly. And I'm frankly embarrassed by it, but I have no choice. It's one thing when you're in it. Remind us of a scene on Robinson Crusoe on Mars, where he starts to hallucinate that the guy who's down on the planet and stranded on Mars. He hallucinates that he sees his co-pilot, who was up in the orbiter, played by Adam West, by the way, suddenly shows up, but he's not saying anything. He's like, "Come on, talk to me, tell me." And then turns out he's oxygen. He was on a time limit. He has to suck an extra oxygen every like half hour or so, and suddenly the alarm's going off and nothing's there. And he's been recording this whole thing, his experiences for later posterity time. He gets on there. Okay, you guys want to know what's going on? How it's like being on this? Here it is. All you whiz bang geniuses who run these simulator tests on Earth have left out one important thing. When you're doing on Earth, you're coming out of it on the other end after 30 days. So you don't have that option up here. You're in it. You are in it. And you got to face up to that fact. That's what this is like right now. We are in it, right? And I'm trying to avoid the old cliche of you get on the side, on the side of the street with a sign saying "Spaceship broken, need parts, for return home." Okay. Trying to maintain some level of dignity in this whole thing, but it's getting harder and harder, And it's getting harder and harder to deal with people who just don't quite get it. Why don't you check into a shelter?
Shelters
won't take couples. They sure as hell won't take take our cat. And no, we're not giving up the cat. Okay, don't even go there.
Yeah, that cat is my lifeline.
Yeah, and I think I'm that cat's lifeline, frankly. In other words, that's another issue. But it doesn't get us anywhere because that's only overnight, and right back on the street the next day. And there's no shelters in this immediate area, we have to find our way back to the van. Or it's another, spend the next day trying to get into a shelter. That's the thing with the shelters. It's like, it's overnight, but that's it. And then you're back on the street and you're playing the same game of Russian roulette the next day trying to get into the shelter. And if you're not, then guess what? You're back on the street. Which means if you don't get in, you basically wasted an entire day trying to get into the damn shelter. And then well, now what do you do? Well, it's back to where you were in the first place. But you've already your time better spent doing something else instead of trying to wait for the damn shelter. But yeah, it's like our business thing is, hopefully about ready to go through back east. In which case, funding will open up, and suddenly it's a whole new world. Until then, we're still stuck in the same old crappy one. So PayPal, Patreon down below. At least enough for lunch money for this week. Because Steph gets paid at the end of the week here, so we can start over at that point. And with the God's willing, something will come up between now and then. We can really get going here. But in the meantime, we have no freaking clue where the next meal is coming from after tonight. I got 2 pieces of bread left in the van, a dwindling supply of peanut butter. We got tuna, no can opener,
And unfortunately,
I got a tool in my wallet I can probably open up, but I'm not really looking forward to that.
And unfortunately, we can't get any more freebies from over
Yeah,
here.
we kind of spoiled things over here for as far as getting comp meals here at King Stewart's. Why not pulling up, keeping up our end of the bargain by leaving on time? So. But that's another issue. We might be able to get back in the good graces on that, but that's going to be a while. And again, if anybody in the Denver area can take his info, it'll solve a lot of problems that way. And especially if anybody knows how to do engine repairs on a 1999 Nissan Quest. Because right now it's our best guess it's back to my original idea of the timing belt. Snapped and the engine's hung up on something. Hopefully it's not a bend valve. But if the lightning comes through, that's going straight in. We're renting a car for a while. And getting some stuff done we need to do for the past 7-8 months. And hopefully shortly thereafter getting the hell out of this state once and for all. And I think that's one thing. I've never really felt that attached, because I've always known we're from somewhere else. Because I do, one of my earliest memories is moving in from, I think it's from Hays, Kansas. But also know originally from Texas. It's just like, Colorado's nice. It's been pretty good, okay, but it's soured. The estate, the real estate market's ruined. The population's changed over so much, like, forget it. It's not the same state I grew up in.
Yeah.
So I got no problem leaving, not going back.
Me neither.
It's just a matter, just trying to get through that. It's an endurance test now, and the old line from Firefly: if you can't run, walk. And if you can't walk, find someone to carry you. And we're needing a little carrying right now. Not much, because we're thinking that the finish line of this particular chapter is hopefully within reach here, but we need be able to get those last few feet to get there. So once again, PayPal, Patreon down below, and also we have until February 20th to get this thing over 1,000 subscribers. Right now we're sitting at like 604 last I checked there, because I'm going to pick up a few here and there, but it's like dribs and drabs. We need major effort here, and I know there's enough fans out there for God's sakes. Hell, track yards has thousands. One thing come on. We like rants about Star Trek and other things, and Leorville, and again, we got a place in Florida that would be perfect if we can convince the VA to do a loan on it. Because I heard they can be kind of picky, but this one's like, it doesn't look, the place looks fine. It doesn't look, the only rough spots are really aesthetic. You paint the walls, which we're going to do anyway. We got 1,000 posters. They're going to go nuts on that. And there is a barn out back. That's like, that's my studio right there. That's going to be the Mad Scientist warehouse right back here in that little barn back in there. Do all kinds of strange things. Put up a green screen and that when we get in there, it's like it's going to be real fun, man. But we got to get there first. You got to get there with your help. So for the 15th time, PayPal, Patreon down below. Click on it, throw some money at us. Keep us going. I'll see you there.